Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I just wanted to talk about what I bring in my skate bag, like what I pack in my backpack when I'm going out to skate or whatnot. And I figured this video just might help people if they're wondering what they should bring whenever they want to go skating. Now, this stuff is the stuff that personally works for me personally, and I wouldn't say it's like a recommendation video or like a necessities video. It's just stuff that works for me and it might help you out too. So the first thing that I bring is a no-brainer, and it's just going to be a normal skate tool. And it's great for doing just on-the-road maintenance, like you need to tighten out your hardware, just your trucks, or you need to take out parts off to replace hardware or whatever. T-tool is pretty much a necessity. If you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. They're only like 10 bucks or so, and there are more expensive ones out there that have a bunch of like gimmicks, like axle rethreaders. There's a file, or they have ratcheting tools to like make turning the tool easier. But honestly, for me, just a normal T tool works the best. Now the second one is just going to be skateboard wax. Now what I have here is just an old chocolate tin with a bunch of stickers on it, and inside that's where I put all my wax. Now the reason I use a tin over like a plastic bag or whatever is just because the plastic bags, I don't find them reliable. Especially when they start to get really messy and you can't engage that seal like properly. It just kind of comes apart, and I just feel it's a lot more messy. Now with the tin, it keeps its shape relatively. This one's really dented, but it still has a lot of space in it, and it's really easy to use. You know, you can just pop this off, put your wax in here, use it, put the wax back in, you can just pop it back on. It works, it's foolproof, and I find that it's a lot more cleaner than using a plastic bag. So yeah, that's what I keep my wax in. Now the third one for me would be a first aid kit. Now this is individual size. I pretty much replaced all the stuff that came in this one initially. So this 74-piece thing, not accurate. It all has my own parts in it. And I find this is really useful. And there has been a few times where I actually had to use a first aid kit. So one time, the guy at the skate park had an injury. I think he hung up on a disaster, and he ended up falling face first onto the concrete and ended up busting his nose up here. Doesn't seem like he broke anything. He was fine, but it's just a lot of bleeding coming from that ripped skin or from the injury site. So I took out my first aid kit, cleaned him up, stopped the bleeding, and then dressed up the wound, and he was fine. And it definitely was very useful having this. Otherwise, we have to call like the ambulance or whatnot. It was just been a whole big thing. Another instance where I had to use this is that I was visiting North Carolina a few weeks ago. I was at this DIY ramp, and it was very sketchy. It wasn't maintained very well. I ended up falling, and my knee got caught onto like this screw head that was popped up against the ramp, and it just kind of like dug under my skin. Got a little knee flap, and there was a bunch of bleeding. More than I was used to, but nothing too serious, in my opinion. I just ended up taking out my first aid kit, wrapping it up in gauze to help stop the bleeding, got back to my hotel, and then used the rest of the stuff in here to properly maintain it. Stopping the bleeding, cleaning it, and then just dressing it. And it's honestly not hard to get first aid training. There's some stuff you have to remember, like how to treat a wound, when to use certain equipment like a tourniquet or whatnot, but it's not like you have to learn how to do surgery or whatever. And there's definitely a lot of classes online if you have some spare time, like online, in person, and it's honestly a really good skill to have even outside of skating. So yeah, I do need to update whatever's in here, but aside from that, this I just don't leave without it. And next one is just a little bottle of hand sanitizer. Skating, it's just naturally dirty. Your board's all dirty from touching the curb, the ground or whatever, and then you're going to be falling a lot and placing your hands out and then touching the ground. And some other spots might be dirtier than others, and it just never hurts to have a little bottle of hand sanitizer to, try to help keep your hands clean. Alright, the next one would just be a little bandana or handkerchief or whatever you want to call it. And I find this just helps a lot with just dealing with sweat, especially on a really hot day. You just take this out and just wipe yourself down and then put it back in your bag or pocket instead of having to use your shirt or whatever. I also find that it helps with dealing with keeping sweat out of the eyes, especially if you're someone like me that wears glasses. You just take the thingy, fold it up into a bandana, like a head wrap, just wrap it around your head, and then that bandana will just help absorb all the sweat that's coming down from your forehead. And I feel that it really, really helps on the hot days where sweat's trying to come into my eyes, and it helps keep my glasses from sliding around a lot more because of that. So yeah, I would say that a bandana or handkerchief, whatever you want to call it, it's really, really useful, and they're really easy to find. There's like a lot of really neat designs too, so if you want to get creative with like your outfit or whatever, this helps a lot. The next one would be my tripod, which I'm using right now to film this video. It's just a generic tripod with the bendy legs and the phone holder, because that's what I use to record my videos, but I also use it to film skate clips or whatnot, and it's pretty portable. It's not like a giant camera tripod or whatnot, but this one I can just throw into a bag and just take it out whenever I need it to without any hassle. And it's a lot better than using just like leaning it up against a water bar or whatever, because this way I have a lot more control about where the camera is, how stable it is, and like where it can point or whatnot. So yeah, I would say the portable tripods with the bendy legs works a lot better, because you can also use the legs to wrap it around a pole or whatever you want to get a good angle or whatnot, or wrap it around a fence or something higher, just in case what you're filming is just kind of high. So yeah, that's what I use to film. Next one is just a spare case of glasses, not spare case, spare pair of glasses, and it never hurts to have this, because you don't know if you're gonna like damage your current pair, like the one I'm wearing right now. I remember this one time I was skating, I did a trick, and then when I landed it, my glasses fell off, and I landed right in front of my wheel. And I ended up running over my glasses and just dragging it through the rough concrete, and it just completely ruined the finish, scratched up my lenses beyond repair, and it sucked, honestly. And at that time I didn't have my spare pair of glasses, so I had to go home with pretty much obstructed vision. So never hurts to carry around a spare pair, because you never know what might happen. Now the next one is just a little variety of bicycle tools. So I have my pressure gauge, bike pump, and then a little bit other tools like Allen keys, tire patches. And reason being is because I ride my bike a lot, usually to the skate park and other places or whatnot. And it never hurts to have these tools just in case something happens, like the tire gets punctured and you get a flat. And there has been a few times where that has happened to me, but thankfully I have my tools to help me repair the damage, so I didn't have to like walk the entire bike back home. And I usually just keep these in my bag, even if I'm not taking my bike, just because it's easier for me to like know that these are in my bag all the time, instead of having to like put them somewhere else and then take them back out, put them back in, that sort of stuff. So it's just easier for me to leave them in my bag. Next thing is just a water bottle. This is a 40-ounce water bottle, and I find that usually this and maybe another water bottle, a smaller one, like a 20-ounce one, is enough to get me through the day. Now, it's kind of weird to me that a lot of people don't bring water bottles, but they would rather just wait until they need a bottle and they'll just go buy it or whatever. I find this is a lot more handy. You can just fill it up at home, and if your place has it, like your skate or whatever, you can just fill it at the water filling stations, and it does save you money. And also you can just like slap stickers on it or whatever, and it's a lot easier to keep track of like which is your bottle, especially with your friends and you're all drinking from the same looking bottle. I'd say this is just really, really handy to use, and you can throw in whatever you want, ice or whatever. Yeah, so water bottle. And if the weather permits, I may just bring a hoodie or a jacket or whatever, and leave space in my bag so I can actually pack that clothing, because sometimes it gets like hotter later in the day, and then I don't have any reason to wear the hoodie, so I can just put it in my bag, but I want to make sure I still have space in it. So that's all the stuff I usually bring with me in my skate bag. Now there's like stuff like helmets and pads. Sometimes I don't use those when I'm gonna go skate, so I don't bring them with me all the time. And you also may notice that I didn't talk anything about like spare parts, like spare bushings, spare bearings, hardware, that sort of thing. And that's because I never have the need to actually bring along those parts. There may be times where like I bring like a spare pair of new bushings, but that's pretty rare, and that's only when I'm like really changing the durometer, just in case that one doesn't really work. Like the Indy 92 A bushings versus the stock 90A bushings. Sometimes when I'm switching between one or the other, I'll bring the other one just in case the new one doesn't work out. So I know there's like maintenance kits out there, like the one Indy sells, where it's like a tackle box or whatever, and has like hardware, bushings, bearings, that sort of thing. I think that's a really neat thing, but honestly, I never had a need to buy something like that. And regardless, I would rather just like take a little box of my spare parts and make my own. But yeah, again, I just never had a need for that, to carry around all that extra parts. So yeah, I thought I'd just make a little video talking about what I bring with me in my skate bag, and I hope it helps you. You know, you were thinking about like what to add inside your skate bag or whatnot. So yeah, that has been another video. Hope you enjoyed it, and you have a good day.